Hello. Okay. All right, we're going live. And today we're going to be talking about a couple of films here. Uh, but I'll wait for a few people to come in. I mean, either way, I'm going to start. But yeah, today I'm going to review a couple of films, do it live, and also take questions. Uh, so I'm just going to get up my notes here. Let me see. Where are they? Oh, we got one person watching. Yeah, so the two films that we are going to. Hey, Preminator. Hope you're doing well. By the way, Preminator, I know you requested Aliens, so what I might do is I'm going to wait until I review the Alien franchise, and then I can talk about Aliens, if that's okay. Um, if you're okay with that, um, but that's what I might do. Uh, I'm just thinking about that. Hey, Jack. Hope you're doing well. That's pretty cool. Hey, Jamie. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, so the two films that we're going to talk about today are Final Destination 2 and an animated film called Nine. Now, I'm trying to figure out, I just want to get the name right. The person who requested Final Destination 2. Raphael IT. Yeah, so Raphael IT, this is for you. And so, yeah, and I have my notes right here. Uh, so, and I know Raphael, yeah, I'm sure you're going to watch this later. Uh, but thank you for your patience. I know it's taken a little bit longer than it should. And I don't review, like, I don't think I've done any live reviews like this. But it's fun, to do something a little bit different. Uh, so let me see here. When do I think? Well, as a matter of fact, I'll make that. Here's what I'll do. I'll make that my next franchise review. So, you know, I have all the Alien films back in storage. I would have to go visit and find them. So, but I know they're in storage. I have each Alien film on Blu-ray. So that will be my next series review. But so let's talk about Final Destination 2. So basically, the plot here, uh, the main character, of course, has a vision of a deadly highway pileup. And as we know, she tries to prevent several people from dying. And she learns by escaping the accident that only delayed the inevitable. And now death begins hunting down the survivors one by one. So that's the plot. Kind of a quick description there of the plot. We got Alter Ego here. Yeah, so right now I'm just talking about Final Destination 2. And, like I said, you guys are welcome, more than welcome to interject with your thoughts, comments about the film. And definitely we'll, you know, you guys, we can do a free for all, like, ask anything, ask questions. But as sort of like a recap on the franchise, I would say the first one is probably my favorite of the series. Uh, I have gone back and rewatched them in the past few months. So this is my second time watching the second film, and I would say, again, the first one's the original is the best. Final Destination 3 is probably my second favorite. I think largely because of the theme park motif. I really enjoyed the setting of the film. This one, I kind of I'll talk more about that. Final Destination 4, I think, is the weakest of the series. Final Destination 5, I remember some moments. The newer one, I did see the two things that stuck out to me with the new one, even though I don't really, honestly remember that much, but I do remember the opening scene with the restaurant. And of course, you have the final appearance from Tony Todd. And that's about it as far as, the last one goes. I really don't, other than that, I really don't remember much about it. Um, I mean, it was sad to see Tony Todd in that state, but, he had been sick for a while. Uh, uh, yeah, I mean, you guys can, how would you guys rank the Final Destination films? Again, I would say like my favorite is the first one. My second favorite is the third one, and then I would say this one. So three, one, three, two, five, six, four, I guess, if you want to put it like that. I did see the trailer for Ice Cream Man. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, Eli Roth, he did direct Thanksgiving. I haven't seen every Eli Roth film. Actually, no, I take that back. I have seen the Hostel movies. So we'll see what happens. But getting back to the film of Final Destination 2, I would say the cast is serviceable. I don't think it was nice to see the character of Clear Rivers come back, played by Ali Lauder. She returns from the first movie. And I would also say AJ Cook is solid in the lead role. But other than that, I really can't get into the characters of the second one. And I know it seems like for some people, they prefer the second one over the original, where I'm the opposite. I prefer the original over this one in so many ways. And I'll talk about that here. Because I don't really like, other than AJ Cook and the character of is it Clear Rivers? I don't know if I said Clear Waters, but I think the character's name is Clear Rivers. They're solid in the movie. Other than that, I really don't really. I said really twice. The supporting players in the film, I think, are forgettable. And one note, um, hey Gina, yeah, I like part three. I mentioned about just a second ago. Part three is probably my second favorite of the series. But again, I think it's more for the theme park motif. You have Mary Elizabeth Winstead in the film. I remember that one a little bit more. But yeah, the characters in here, other than again AJ Cook, talking about the second one, other than AJ Cook and the character of Clear that returns from the first movie, I really don't care about the supporting cast here. I mean, I understand like people might say, well, this is Final Destination. You can't necessarily, expect a lot of character development here. It's not necessarily expected for this franchise. But at the same time, again, I just felt very indifferent about the supporting cast. There are some memorable moments here. The Route 23 pileup is a standout moment. Also, the scene with the long truck, definitely one of the more memorable uh, sequences of the series. Uh, there are some death scenes that are fun. I remember the one in the apartment where the guy is trying to escape and he gets out, but then he gets killed by the ladder where the ladder impels, his eye. You have the glass window sequence, you have the elevator decapitation. So the setups are fun and enjoyable. And really, that's the reason why we watch these movies, is for the cool, death scenes. The film is directed by David R. Ellis, who I forgot this. David R. Ellis, unfortunately, he's passed away. But here's some of the films he directed: Homeward Bound 2, which I forgot about. I knew he directed Snakes on a Plane. Uh, and he also directed the Final Destination 4. And I think the last thing he directed was Shark Night, which I remember watching in a theater. And I just remember how bad it was. Uh, yeah, I did hear about that. Well, apparently it's a remake. Yeah, Zack Snyder is remaking Escape from New York. I'll take a big pass on that. But yeah, like I said, David R. Ellis, who directed the film. You don't have James Wong, who directed the first film, and I think it shows here in the direction because James Wong, prior to directing the first one, he had like his background, he had worked on the X Files, and so I think that plays more in his favor because in the original film he brings a stronger sense of mystery and atmosphere. There's a little bit more edge there. Where with this one, I think the direction takes a step down. Uh, and again, well, I know that some fans, they prefer the second one over the first one, but I just don't think. Again, the direction is just not as strong, or I don't know. I just don't think David R. Ellis was the best choice to direct the movie, and I don't think it's as engaging as the first movie. And overall, I would say like the death scenes provide plenty of entertainment, but I just think with the second Final Destination, the direction lacks compared to the original. And again, I know like a lot, a lot of people out there prefer the second one way more than the first one. That seems to be something that I've read a lot, like, if you go through forums and stuff like that. But I'm just in the opposite where I prefer the first one a little bit more. And again, my second favorite would be the third one because I remember that one a little bit more. Again, the roller coaster bits and that one, stuck out for me a little bit more. I mean, if I were to rate Final Destination 2, I mean, on a scale of 1 to 10, I mean, you know, I'm somewhere between a 5 and a 6. Like for me, I can't really go any higher than that. And again, a lot of the death moments, the death scenes are fun and enjoyable. And there's a couple of really, like, the pile up, the log truck. Those are some standout moments. But other than that, like it's one of those. I don't know. I have a hard time remembering. Like this is my second time watching the film because I've went back and watched the whole series a few months ago and rewatching the film again. Uh, Again, for some reason, I can't get into it for some reason. I don't know. I think it's the direction. I think James Wong did a much better job on the first one. So, if I had a gun to my head, like, okay, rate the movie on the scale of 1 to 10, I would probably give it a 5. And again, it's not one that I hate, but it's not necessarily one that I loved either. But that's the thing, with this series. like Final Destination is one of those horror franchises that it's not a go-to franchise for me. Like, if I could be honest, I much rather, go and watch, the Jason films, the Freddy films, and others out there. Like Final Destination, I mean, we've had six of these movies, and for me, there's only been like two good ones. So really, a third of the franchise for me has, but people might disagree. People in the chat here that are watching, I mean, maybe you prefer the first three and the other three that, four through six, you don't really care for. But everybody's different. Everybody's different as far as what they like and don't like. Uh, so yeah, Final Destination 2, I would give it a 5. So that's my review on that. The Final Destination, it's your second favorite franchise. Okay, that's cool. Wild Man Beyond in the house. Because, he has to work. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, this is something that's, remaking Escape from New York. Uh, is something they've talked about for years. So, ugh. Well, and that's fine. Like I was just talking about the film, how like for me, I think the first one is my favorite. I think because it's the one that started it all. And like the second one, I think for me personally, it takes a dip and then I think it picks back up a little bit for the third one because of the roller coaster scenes. You have Mary Elizabeth Winstead in there. I don't know, for some reason I remember that one a little bit more. And I think James Wong, yeah, I think James Wong came back to direct the third one. So, but moving on to the next review, we're going to talk about this animated film called Nine that was requested by Sean in Time, Sean Little. And this is one that I watched the other day. And the plot here to the film, real quick. So, it's in the future, it's a post apocalyptic world, and it's devastated by a war between humans and machines. And our main character is a small ragdoll, awakens with no knowledge of his past. And basically, he finds these other ragdolls, like ragdoll creations, and he discovers that he may hold the key to humanity's final chance at survival against these machines. And that's the plot to the film. Uh, Now, the voice cast here, you have Elijah Wood in the film, you have Jennifer Connelly, Crispin Glover, John C. Riley, Christopher Plummer, and I think the voice cast is solid here. I think the concept and the visuals, the film has a very, unique premise here, especially compared to most animated films. It definitely is not afraid to go into dark territory because of the themes of the story, the plot. It's especially with the animation, it's visually intriguing and it has a very distinctive, look and aesthetic. And the post apocalyptic setting definitely creates a bleak and unsettling future for what is a kids movie. I mean, that's what this film, it's a kids movie and it's not afraid to go into some dark territory here. The designs of the machines in the future, because you have certain scenes where these machines would basically exterminate some of these characters. And the machines in the film definitely gave me like flashes of the machines in the Matrix. And the film is directed by Sean Acker, who is mostly known for his visual effects, and he's a visual effects guy. I think maybe he's only directed one or two movies, um, but this is probably his most notable film. And I would say, the visual effects are the movie's greatest strength here. Uh, I think for me, this needed a better director. Like, Sean Acker's he's a great visual artist. I'm not sure for me he's the greatest storyteller. And I think maybe if you had a different director that could have directed the film, and you could have had Sean Acker, still provide the visual effects here. Like if you had a director, let's say Gore Verbinski, who directed uh, the Pirates of the Caribbean. I think he may have directed two or three of those, and he also directed this film called Rango. Uh, I think he would have been, a better option, in terms of directing. Uh, I think he definitely would have, with his direction, and that's just to mention a name. I mean, it doesn't have to be Gore Verbinski, but it could have been anybody else that probably would have had more directing experience, that could, really work on the story and expand the concept into something that's a little bit more impactful. And the visual, again, Shane Acker's, visual style in the film, it's impressive, but I don't think the narrative is fully expanded, uh, which for me kind of leads into my critiques about the film. And while the animation, I mean, when it comes to animated films, it's not like a genre that I really seek out to watch much now. Uh, like the animation quality, the animation is great here in the film. The voice performances are fine. The biggest issue for me with this film, that the word incomplete comes to my mind, because the film, it jumps into action very quickly, almost as if the movie started without the viewer, and you're kind of like trying to fill in the blanks uh, as to why is this character a ragdoll? You know, how did this start? Like it just kind of jumps into it immediately, and it doesn't really, until later on, it doesn't really explain the backstory a little bit. So definitely, I think this film needed more background, more world building, character development. I think it would have strengthened the film, and I think that's where a longer runtime could have benefited, because the film is about an hour and 20 minutes, and really, if you take away 5 minutes of credits, it's about an hour and 15-minute film. And I think that's where a longer runtime definitely could have benefited this movie. And then again, later on, the movie does eventually explain, some of the story, but you kind of want to see the film go that extra mile, because the world itself, is fascinating, and it definitely deserves deeper exploration. And overall, I would say with the film, visually engaging and well animated, it definitely stands out for its dark tones. But it could have been more intriguing if the film or the story could have been more fully developed. Uh, so, that if I were to rate the film, like on a scale of 1 to 10 for me, I would still give it a 6, because Again, there's some good points to the film, the voice cast, the visuals, but I think the story for me is the biggest thing. I think it needed, to be worked on more. I think you need a director that, could have brought more to the table. So that's my thoughts on the film. So those are my live reviews. Again, this is something that I've really, uh, I don't do too often, but it's something different, to talk about, a couple of films here and talk about it live. Um, but so now that's out of the way. And again, that is for Raphael IT and Sean and Time 87. Uh, so I hope you like those reviews. Never seen it. Never seen the City of Lost Children. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Oh, no problem. Yeah, I mean, again, this is something that, yeah, I don't think I've ever done live reviews. Uh, like, I think it's fun a little bit because, not only, like, I mean, it's also a live stream, but, I can also keep recording. I can still go on and, acknowledge comments and answer questions and, you know, stuff like that. So, I definitely agree with that. We don't need a Rambo sequel or prequel. That's pretty cool. I like 1408. I haven't seen that film in a while. Yeah, we don't need Escape from New York remake. I mean, especially coming from that director. Have I seen any horror films recently in theaters? No, but I know we are seeing because we've talked about it. Rosanna and I we're going to check out Disclosure Day when that comes out. So we'll definitely. And again, we don't. I mean, we don't go to a theater much at all, but we have talked about, watching that. Yeah, Rambo 4. For me, you know, it went full circle. Like it ended on a great note. You can't top it. We don't need. We didn't need a fifth Rambo film. But yeah, yeah. Like I said, we didn't need another Rambo. I can't believe I saw that in a theater. Well, Rosanna and I go see Masters of the Universe. Probably not. I don't think she knows that too well to go see that in the theater. Uh, I think, yeah, like I said, I think the film that we're going to check out is going to be Disclosure Day. So we're trying to, yeah, I think that's the plan right now. But even like coming from like, I don't know if I would want to see Masters of the Universe. I mean, for me, yeah, it's Pepsi Max Cherry. Well, favorite, I mean, zero sugar. Uh, and if I sound a little bit sluggish or like kind of, well, I woke up at 1:30 and I went to work, came back and took a little nap, but I still feel a little bit tired. So I'm not as hyped up. So my apologies. Favorite nine scene? I don't know if I have a favorite scene from the movie. I mean, again, like I said, it's a visually intriguing film, and it's again, I give the film, some good points, but I think the story definitely could have been worked on. I think the yeah, Shane Acker, again, great visual artist, but I think it needed a director that knows how to really expand on that kind of idea. Like it's a very unique idea, but it needed a better director. I did review the original. It's on the channel. I reviewed it about 2 months ago. Yeah, I did review the film about. So what would that be like back in April? It's on the channel. Favorite action scene ever? I don't know if I have a favorite of all time, but I mean, I mean, any scene in Die Hard. How about that? I've never seen LA Takedown. Never seen it. Ah, yeah, so like I said, yeah, I woke up at 1:30 and I couldn't get back to sleep. And eventually I got up about 2:30 and got ready for work. Went through work and got back, took a little nap, but I still feel very tired. So, yeah, I've seen some like little videos of Dolph like at the premiere and stuff like that. Uh, and apparently he does have a part in the movie. That's what I've heard. For dinner, I think we're gonna eat like Caesar salad or something. Yeah, I mean, I think well for lunch we had sorry. For lunch we had a few pizza rolls. Yeah, she's working right now, but during her lunch break we had a few pizza rolls. No, pizza rolls aren't very healthy. Uh, that's why I only ate a few. And yeah, so by the time when I got back from work and I took my nap, I showered and took a nap, and I could have slept a little bit longer. And again, that's probably another reason why I'm a bit still tired and stuff. Like I just got up in time for her lunch, so we had, uh, again, pizza rolls and stuff. It was her lunch, and I just ate a few. Ed O'Neill. I don't understand the comment. I don't know if you mean Ed O'Neill would have been good in an action movie. I don't know about that, but he's a good actor. Okay, I haven't watched that. I've never seen LA Takedown. Yeah, apparently, I don't know how much screen time he has in the film, but I heard that he does have a part in the film, as like a mentor. Yeah, yeah. I haven't. I think I have Bumblebee on Blu-ray, but I haven't seen it. Mm. Best comedy scene of the 2000s. Uh, I don't know. That's a big question. I don't know. I had to think about that one. Who would win, Dolph's He-Man or Arnold's Conan? Probably Conan. I don't know. So, what do you mean by Ed O'Neill did Popeye Doyle? The only Ed O'Neill film that I've seen, I actually like Dutch, and I haven't seen that film in a while, but I do like that film quite a bit. So, so for the people that are in the chat right now, the few people watching, what do you guys think about the live reviews? Should I keep doing them, or what say y'all? It'd be cool if Courtney Cox did a cameo like Dolph. I don't know if she was ever asked. Uh, Even then, like around that time, I mean, it's fun to think about, but I think Arnold would have been too big for that. Meaning, by that point, I mean, he was just, very popular. I mean, there was, because what, that year Commando had came out. I mean, it's a cool thing to think about, but I think Arnold was too big of a star even then. I still think, and we've talked about this before, like back then, Sly, Arnold and Sly should have done a film together. I mean, without question. I mean, but they were at competition with each other, and you know, it is what it is. Oh boy, Ed O'Neill did a TV sequel to The French Connection called Popeye Doyle when Gene Hackman said no. Interesting. I had no idea. Yeah, we've seen Sly versus Arnold, but it wasn't good. It was in The Escape Plan or Escape Plan, and it was a very forgettable fight in a cafeteria, and it lasted what, 30 seconds. What movie set would you have liked to have visited? That's a great question. Probably. Hmm. Maybe like Jaws. That would have been great. Hackers would have been great. TMNT 1990. That would have been a really cool set to see. You know. Yeah, I like doing a live review. Again, like I didn't think about it until recently, and only because also too that I know that the two people that requested those films have been waiting for a while, and I'm like, well, let me try this, and and that way you guys can interact and you know give your thoughts and comments about the films. So yeah, maybe I should start doing those, and like incorporate more reviews into the live streams. I mean, the only thing is like, and you would get sort of like my also kind of the raw, my raw thoughts and stuff like that, uncut. uncensored. Where yeah, I mean, I have a lot of fun editing videos and stuff, and recording, and I'll get back to that. But it's always fun to go off the cuff and at the same time talk with everybody and stuff like that. Yeah, Rambo 3 would have been cool. Okay, cool. Thank you. It's funny because I have thought about doing a hackers commentary, but I don't know when that will be. Maybe it could be in July or something. So we'll see what happens. I have thought about it because I know, like, yeah, tomorrow I'm doing the live commentary for The Mummy. What movie Wes Craven didn't make that he should have made? I don't know. I have to look at a list. Like, I wish I knew. Hackers, I would say, is my second favorite movie. Um, for a while, it was my favorite, but I would say more now, like, Jaws is number one, without question. What are your thoughts on the Knight Rider TV show? Yeah, I'm a fan of the show. I do like the show, and it's fun. Uh, I think I have the first season or the first two seasons. I haven't seen the whole entire show, but I do have fun with it. And I know I thought maybe they were talking about doing a movie recently, but I forgot like who's making it or whatever. Who would win, Dolph or Seagal? Now, probably Dolph. Best movie that takes place in the mountains. Hmm. Uh, hmm. I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. I have to really think about that one. The way I feel about MacGyver is the same way I feel about Knight Rider. Yeah, I mean, and that's a whole nother topic because, like they did MacGruber, the movie, and that was stupid. And then they did the MacGyver reboot, which I did not watch. Or I think I watched the pilot and I'm like, F this, I'm not watching anymore. Yeah, I remember they rebooted Knight Rider. I recall. I think it was for the Sci-Fi Channel. I think. Yeah, Cliffhanger. I would. Yeah, definitely. I would say Cliffhanger. So that's my answer. No, I've never seen Shoot to Kill, but I've always wanted to. There was. I remember they rebooted Knight Rider. This is back in like, if I remember correctly, I think it was like 2007 or 2008, and I think it only lasted like a few episodes or a season at least. But yeah, they did reboot Knight Rider, but this is like years ago. And I think Val Kilmer was the voice of Kit, if I remember correctly. 2008, this for NBC. Okay. Reunion movie in 1991 was shitty. Team Knight Rider was solid. What movie would you add Wild Man Beyond to in a supporting role? Well, uh, I would say Euphoria because Sydney Sweeney's in it, but they canceled Euphoria. So any film where you can cast Sydney Sweeney in, you got to put Wild Man Beyond in there. I mean, that's a given, right? But if I came up with another answer for that one, probably Total Recall because he lives on Mars. Uh, have you seen the film Run from 1991? No, I haven't seen it. Well, I haven't seen it, but if anybody's wondering what I'm doing, I'm just trying to follow up on this new job thing. But I'm still paying attention to the chat. Like I said, feel free to ask away. I'm just trying to stay on top of this new job thing. Let me see here what we got. You'd rather be in a Bond movie with Sydney Sweeney as the Bond girl? Yeah, we all know that. What movie was the best cinema experience? I would say for me, like, even though I'm not really crazy about the film, but seeing Creed in the theater with the packed audience, that was a lot of fun because everybody was excited about the film. Uh, I'm trying to think of another one. I mean, whenever I would go to the Retro Theater here in Raleigh, um, usually, uh, I mean, it depends. I mean, I haven't been in a while, but that the crowd is, you know, is always a lot of fun because it could be a classic movie, and people will applaud after the film, and so. But yeah, I hope I answered your question. Uh, it's just me so far. Uh, Maybe Rosanna will be there. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I know Rambo Raff, has talked about the show, but I haven't seen one episode. Uh, are you asking about the Mummy? Well, if I do the commentary in the bedroom, like she'll be there, but I don't know, like if she's gonna be there like throughout the commentary. So it just depends. Like, I might be in here or I might be in there. What movie scene made best use of its music score or songs from soundtrack? Probably the one scene that jumps to my mind is the the crow, and the scene where he's getting into the makeup and the transformation of the crow. You have that great song by The Cure. I would definitely say that. Uh, but the whole film, has a great soundtrack. There's a lot of Point Break. I like the soundtrack for that. I like the soundtrack for you know I mean, Daredevil. Say what you will about the movie, but the film has a great soundtrack. Yeah, I would say by far. I mean, Cobra Kai is miles better than Creed. And like I said, I'm not even a big fan of the first Creed, but I do remember seeing that in a theater, and the whole crowd was into the movie. If I had to add one turtle to Bill and Ted 1, are you talking about Ninja Turtles? I mean, Michelangelo would definitely fit in there. Yeah, I mean, it's a little crazy now what AI can do, and I mean, you can go on Chat GPT and basically do anything. So it's fascinating. Yeah, I like swimming. I don't swim enough. What movie is your parents' favorite? I would say for my dad, he's a big Clint Eastwood fan. Like so he loves Unforgiven. Um, I think he's more into like westerns, like Jeremiah Johnson, which I also do like that film. Uh, but I mean, I don't know necessarily what his favorites are, but definitely like a lot of the old, Clint westerns, and yeah, I don't know about. I don't think my mom is not a big like movie fan. Like I can't tell you what her favorite movie is. Maybe The Truman Show, because she's talked about that film quite a bit. Maybe that. What would you say is the best Rambo song played at the end? Probably the second one. I forgot the name of the song, but I know Frank Stallone sings it. Do you think David Hasselhoff would have made a big movie star than just Avatar star? I don't know what you mean than just Avatar star. Like, do I think David Hasselhoff would have been a much bigger star? I mean, uh, I don't know. I mean, he's a good actor, but I don't know if because of his association with Knight Rider and Baywatch, if that really trans. I don't know. I mean, I think I think he was a big star for Knight Rider and Baywatch that he really didn't need. Like if you're talking like big cinematic exposure, I don't think he needed that because he made a name for himself. He may not be a Pacino or a De Niro, but he is a star. Maybe not an actor's actor, but he's still an icon. What would I rank the Dirty Harry movies? My favorite is probably Magnum Force. Then after that, I would say Dirty Harry. I need to go back and rewatch those films again. I have the first four in the Blu-ray pack, and I have the Deadpool on DVD. But I would say my favorite is Magnum Force. My second favorite is probably Dirty Harry, the first one. My third favorite is probably the Deadpool, and this is going off of memory here. My fourth favorite, there's five, right? So okay, so to backtrack, my favorite is Magnum Force. Second favorite, Dirty Harry. Third favorite, probably, or is there four of them? How many Dirty Harrys did they make? Like Dirty Harry, Magnum Force, The Enforcer, and The Enforcer came after Sudden Impact, right? Someone help me out here. Because I don't really remember The Enforcer too much, so I would say that like is the very last. I think Enforcer is the fourth one, I believe. Um, but I would say if I go like in this order, I would say the second one is my favorite. The first one is my second favorite. My third favorite is probably the Deadpool, then Sudden Impact, then the Enforcer. Yeah, Wild Man's always a hoot. We're gonna get up again where we're gonna do a hangout and get everybody in there. My favorite Western is probably Young Guns or Tombstone. I've never seen Hollow Man 2, but why are you watching Hollow Man 2? Why not the first one? I've heard nothing but bad things about that one. Yeah, Peace in Our Life. I couldn't for the life of me remember that song, but I do like that one. Favorite planet from the Star Trek franchise? I'm not sure. I would have to. I don't know. I'm not sure. Oh, no problem. Yeah, he was funny in Click. Yeah, I did hear about that. Yeah, Schwarzenegger is doing an action film with Liam Hemsworth. Why? Why? The guy sucked in Expendables 2. Why? Yeah, the original Hollow Man's great. The Enforcer is the third one. Okay, I got it confused. I thought the Enforcer was the fourth one, but Sudden Impact is the third one, or the fourth one. Uh, I forgot about that. I haven't seen Crank in a while. Paycheck, I haven't seen all the way through. I've seen kind of bit parts. Yeah, sorry if I keep looking down here. I'm following up on a new job thing that I'm trying to make sure that everything is filled out before, um, because basically, like by tomorrow, I have to finish submitting some things. Uh, yeah, discount. Yeah, basically, he is. Why is I thought Liam Hemsworth he disappeared for a while, and now he's back all of a sudden, and now he's doing a film with Schwarzenegger. Like, why? Who do you think was a better friend to Billy the Kid? Tom. I don't know how to answer that, but how about the character Chavez? How about that? Because I love LDP, Lou Diamond Phillips. Yeah, the first two Dirty Harrys were the best. Again, Magnum Force is definitely my favorite. Yeah, again, I don't know why Liam Hemsworth is still why put him in a film with Schwarzenegger? Like it baffles the mind. The guy sucked in Expendables 2. Thank God he got killed, and here we are, 15 years later, and he's still working alongside action icons. Aaron Eckhart, great actor. I don't know what my favorite role of his would be, but he's a great actor. Uh, yeah, I mean, maybe someday I'll check out the new Bond game, but yeah. What's this movie called? I forgot. I think, but Amazon is doing it. Yeah, Amazon is behind it, apparently. Can I see Aaron Eckhart as the villain, the son of Murdoch and Rambo's? No, I don't. Rambo 6. I mean, it's nothing against you, but we don't need a Rambo 6. Rambo 5 sucked. Rambo 5, I saw in the theater, and I don't know why, but Rambo 4 ended it perfectly. We don't need Rambo 6. Rambo 5, we didn't even need. Sly, right now, he's working on Tulsa King. Just stick with that. Stick with that because, that's, his strongest thing right now. I mean, yeah, he's up there in age, but, Rambo 5 was awesome. More power to you. I mean, agree to disagree. I thought it wasn't needed. I thought Rambo 4 ended it on such a high note and, was full circle for the character. You can't top what Rambo 4 did. Rambo 5 was, it tried so hard to be, taken with Liam Neeson. It didn't feel like a Rambo film. Rambo had too much dialogue and it just wasn't natural for the character. Uh, yeah, just a lot of things about the film. The last 10, okay, I will give the film the last 10 minutes in the tunnels where, Rambo is taking out, these people, like the bad guys, like one by one. That was fun, but those last 10 minutes of the film doesn't make up for the entire film. No, I've never played any Alien games, like Alien Isolation. I've heard about it, but I haven't never played it. Favorite Jackie Chan flick from the 2000s and onwards? I don't know. I mean, hmm. I don't know. I can't answer that. I mean, I have seen, was it New Police Story? I think that came out in like 2004 or something. I remember watching that. I can't, you know what? I'll say this, Rush Hour 2. I think that's probably my favorite. Because after that, like, you had the tuxedo, you had the medallion. I mean, there might be one or two others in there that are not too bad, but nothing comes close to the second Rush Hour because I do think, like, I love the first Rush Hour, but the second one I like a little bit more. Yeah, I agree. Rambo 5 didn't feel like it. Rambo didn't feel like a Rambo film. Yeah, Magnum Force is a great movie. I I don't know. I mean, for me, the whole backstory of Rambo I thought was explained in the first movie. You know, we don't need a prequel. We don't need David Harbour as Colonel Trotman. Apparently, James Franco is playing the villain. Like, come on. Yeah, I mean, again, that Rambo didn't feel like Rambo in the fifth movie. Yeah, Rambo and Reacher crossover. Like, if it was animated, that'd be cool. But I like Rambo Five's deeply personal, emotional stakes and the thrilling, ultra-violent final act. We'll agree to disagree then. I'm not gonna. For me, like the whole finale in Rambo 4. I mean, it wasn't just that, but I think what Stallone was able to do with Rambo 4, that to me had more deeply personal, you know, themes because of the situation in Burma and these this group that tries to go in and change you know things, but they end up getting taken, and Rambo has to team up with these mercenaries reluctantly. But I for me, Rambo 4 has so much more going for it, and an ending that wraps everything up with a nice bow. Like, what do you get at the end of Rambo 5? You get him in a rocking chair like this, like a rocking chair that he probably got from Cracker Barrel, and then the camera just zooms out. I mean, you cried at the film's conclusion. I cried from the movie because I'm not trying to. I mean, again, if you like the film, that's fine. I don't see how Rainbow Five is better than Rainbow 4. Yeah, and David Harbour is playing Trotman in the prequel. Yeah, I mean, again, I know I did. I think I did review the film. I reviewed the series maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, but yeah, I'm just I'm not a fan of Rainbow Five. I mean, again, that's a whole nother topic and stuff. You did see. Okay, to be fair, yeah, I do remember now. Rambo, like at the very end of the film, he's on a horse. What about the film's climax? Are you referring to the bits in the tunnel, or are you referring to the villain's comeuppance? At least with the Rambo prequel, they can continue into the events of First Blood, the novel, and just end it there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like for me, I think all that needed to be told was, you know, explained in the first movie. Like I don't see the interest. I don't see the point in making a prequel. You know, when people associate the character, like when they think Rambo, they think Stallone. They're not. I mean, but they're still making it. You know, so there's nothing I can do to stop it. Well, I mean, again, like Kyle, like I said, and for people, other people in the chat, like you know, that's fine. Like if you love the movie, but I mean, I'm just not going to be convinced that the fifth Rambo film is better than Rambo 4. So again, we'll agree to disagree. What TV show is the most underrated? Um, I don't. Hmm. Underrated TV shows. Um, hmm. I don't know. I mean, I have to really think about that one. Rainbow Five should have been a short film and not a boring 1 hour and 20 minute movie. Yeah. Favorite Miss Doubtfire scenes? Probably the scene where he's trying it on, like the different masks and stuff. He should have done a Cobra 2 instead of Rambo 5. I'll agree with that. Funny enough, wow, man, I saw something about Cobra recently. Like AI, they put Cobra in the Cobra Kai. If you could find that video, go check it out. It's quite funny. Uh, as much as I enjoyed Sly in First Blood, he should have had a longer beard like the one he had in Nighthawks. But did he have a beard in the novel? I'm only asking because I've never read the novel, so I don't know if that was part of the character description. Uh, but Yeah, Nighthawks is a good one. Not many people talk about Nighthawks. Let's see. Speaking of Cobra, do you have a favorite moment from the movie? Probably. Probably the opening scene in the supermarket, and then I would also say like the final act where he was going up against the night slasher. Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah, I haven't read the novel, but I definitely want to pick it up. And also, speaking of David Morrell, uh, like I do want to pick up the First Blood novel. I picked up another novel by David Morrell called Creeper. So yeah, I don't really know much about it, um, but if anybody does out there, if they know about that one, let me know. Was Chuck Norris a fan of Rambo? Um, he may have been. It's possible, but they were doing a lot of films, like that at that time. That featured a main character that had, been in the Vietnam War. One man army types. See the Rambo films. See Commando. See they're missing an action trilogy. Yeah, Sly and Arnold should have done Contra back in the day. That would have been fun. Would Scotty and I do a commentary for Under Siege? I mean, I'm sure he would be down for it. I think we've talked about doing another commentary. We just have to pick a night and a film. So I think we will at some point. We just have to pick, pick the movie and then pick the night. Would have slided Cobra 2 in the 2000s. It should have happened, but it's too late now. That would have been fun. If you like Young Guns, you should check out Old Henry. Okay, never heard of it. In Rambo 5, the cartel beat Rambo to death, but 5 minutes later is perfectly fine. Yeah. And that's the one thing about that film too. Like, why? I mean, is the character? So let's say for this, okay, the character by this point is in his 70s. Why would you go up to, like, try and find the girl, and there's like 20 or 30 guys waiting to beat your ass? Or, basically, like, he gets surrounded by, you know 20 guys, and they beat the crap out of him. Yeah, Predator 2, I love Predator 2. Very underrated film. Rambo is a tank. No, he not fight. He's the one that got tanked, because in that scene 20 guys beat the shit out of him. Compared to, all of the epic moments in the second Rambo film, the third Rambo film, the fourth Rambo film, and by the fifth one, he tries to go on a solo mission, and he gets taken out, not taken out, but beat to a pulp by 20 guys because he tries to go in alone. It's a stupid To me, it was a stupid decision from that character. It was a stupid character moment. But yeah. What's worse, Samaritan or Escape Room? Well, I haven't seen Escape Room. Samaritan was just forgettable. I don't I love both equally. I My favorite, I would say, is still the first one, but Predator 2 is a great sequel. How would I make Predator 3 to be somewhat fresh and exciting? Well, I think by now, like, I would not want to see a Predator film, because you look at Predators, you look at the Predator. I would not trust Hollywood to make a good Predator film. But let's say like, if we had to rewind and go back in the day, Predator 3, let's make it, if it was made around let's say 1992, 1993, because again, I mean, and Predator, I know people will talk about Predator Badlands, which I haven't seen. To be honest, I really don't have a lot of interest in watching it, but I know a lot of people have talked, you know, good things about the film and stuff like that. But Predator 3, if were made back in the day, maybe you could have had maybe Van Damme in there, or maybe you could have had Dolph, or maybe you could have had some other actor. Maybe you could have had, yeah, I mean, you could have had Arnold and Danny Glover team up, but I don't know who would have directed it, but would have been fun. Give me 1 second. For people that are in here, I will be, no, I'm not taking a leak. I am watching on some food real quick. I will be back in 5 minutes, a few minutes. All right, I'm back. Finally. No, I had to, yeah, fire alarm. Everything's good. Yeah, I just had to watch on some food, but I am back. Let me see what happened here. Yeah, we all heard an alarm. Yeah, everything's good. We're all good. I promise there's no fire. Everybody heard the alarm and got the hell out of the stream. It's weird because, yeah, we're all here. Is Nine one of your favorite PG-13 animated movies? Was it rated PG-13? It's not one of my favorite animated films. I mean, it's, like I said in the beginning, at the beginning of the stream, it's definitely intriguing when it comes to the animation, but I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, like, yeah. What is Rosanna's favorite movie? Probably Parasite. Have I seen The Player? No, but I've heard of the film, but I've never seen it. Do I have a favorite Robert Redford movie? Uh, Based on what I've seen, I would say for now, Sneakers. Yeah, so basically, we were cooking sweet potato tots in the air fryer, and it's weird because we have one smoke detector in the kitchen that is disabled. So I don't know where that was coming from. Like I still can't find the fire alarm or the smoke detector. There's one in the living room because the kitchen and the living room are joined. So yeah, apparently Clint Eastwood has retired from acting and directing. But the guy is like up there in age. He's like 95 or 6. I think he's done more than enough. I mean, I did see Cry Macho, the last film he starred in. I mean, it wasn't like his greatest film. I think The Mule, I think for me, if he had said, okay, The Mule is going to be my final film, that to me, I think would have been a great, swan song for Clint. I really liked that film. I saw that in a theater. Uh, but yeah, am I excited for Meet the Parents 4? Not really. Uh, yeah, I've met Bei Ling. Yeah, she was a very lovely lady. Well, happy birthday to Keith David, great actor. Yeah, so I think what happened was when everybody started to hear the fire alarm, people left the stream. Everything is good. So I'm trying to catch up on the comments, see if I missed anybody. I think Preminator is still in the chat. I think so. I did let people know that I was going to be a few minutes because she was putting something in the air fryer on her, kind of taking a break because she's still working. So, well, I mean, the guy is like, again, 96 years old. So, I mean, it could be one of the, I don't know. The day after tomorrow, I remember seeing once, but I don't remember much about the film. Like I probably haven't seen that since it's came. When did it come out? Yeah, 2004. So the corniest line from Terminator 2. Uh, I don't know. I have to think about that one. But I'll go on for another like 20 minutes here, and then I have to kind of get up and take care of things. Basic Instinct. Yeah, I liked it. I liked the film. Any expectations from first Scary Movie 6? I, it seems what I've heard about the film that there are a few laughs, but it's not of like on par with the let's say the first two. So I'm kind of worried about that one. I mean, maybe I'll check it when it hits streaming, but I'm not going to pay to go see it in a theater. Like for sure, her and we're going to watch, Disclosure Day when that comes out next week. Scare Movie 6 is one that we can wait for. She's doing well. She is working right now. She works from home. Yeah, Terminator 3 had more cringy, embarrassing lines than the second one. The Gargoyles, like animated series. Yeah, I remember it from back in the day. Mike and Molly, was that a sitcom? I've never seen an episode, but I have heard about it. I haven't seen the new Naked Gun. I've seen a couple of episodes of King of Queens. I don't mind it. Yeah, that's what it makes me think of, Disclosure Day. Yeah, it reminds me of Disclosure with Michael Douglas. I don't know what they were thinking with the title for this film, this new Alien film, which, it's not the best title. Yeah, I've heard about this new 007 game. I don't have a PS5. Yeah, I think Rosanna just, it depends with her. She likes popcorn, but I think she has to be in the mood for it. Yeah, I like popcorn sometimes. The Odyssey trailer, indifferent. I mean, it's not one that, I'm going to check out in the theater. When the cartel shoot Rambo dead, yeah, you would think. I have no idea what that is, Ruben. The Mario Galaxy movie, I'll wait. I like the film that came out, the Mario film that came out a couple of years ago. I did like that, but I can wait on seeing the second one. No, we have not seen Obsession yet. Hey, Bobby. We got Bobby in the chat. Also, what memorable dialogue does Rambo 5 have? Not much. The Michael Jackson documentary on Netflix is getting people outraged. I haven't heard anything about it. Uh, I mean, I'm not gonna, the new He-Man film. I can wait. I mean, I mean, for every new film, I mean, just to go to a theater, buy tickets, get refreshments. Like if I went by myself, I'm looking at about $30 probably. If let's say me and her go, which we are planning to have a date night next Friday and go watch, Disclosure Day, like we're still going to spend like 50, $60. So, going to see a film now, it's not cheap. I mean, and of course, like we would love to check out, like some of these newer, like Obsession, like she's a big fan of horror. I'm sure that she would like to watch Obsession and stuff like that. Um, no, we don't have a Regal membership. Yeah, I've heard about it. I've seen like the trailer and stuff. I'm definitely curious about that one. I'm curious about Furious. How about that? So, yeah, I'm aware of the Supergirl film, but I don't really have a lot of interest in watching it. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's $26 a month, free 2D tickets. IMAX tickets are only $9 compared to 30 without membership. Okay. Yeah, like I said, we don't really go that often. Now, I mean, if people want to, and I kind of threw this out there and then, like I took it back, but like I do have PayPal if people want to contribute towards tickets and like things like that. Um, because we are seeing Disclosure Day, that's for sure. And I know people have asked about in the chat, Obsession, He Man, and stuff like that. But even then, like it's a lot to go check out these newer films. But I'll go for like 10 more minutes and ask as much as you like. Ask away. I'll have a good one, Pregnator. Thank you for dropping in, man. Yeah, that's another film that we're definitely going to check out in July because there's me that, and then there's my brother-in-law. So I think there's going to be few of us that are going to watch that. So I know definitely for sure we're going to check that one out. And that's really about the only time I really go to a theater. Either, it's like me and her for like a date night, or it's with a group of people. Yeah, I've seen the Scream. Yeah, I've seen Scream 3. Yeah, but like I said, sorry it took a few minutes there, a little bit ago. Yeah, Scream 7 sucks. Yeah. What if you went to school where CK is your principal, the creepy Kentuckian, Uncle Bill is your king of detention, Matt, Mike, and Fabio as the other classmates? That would have been an entertaining sequel to The Breakfast Club, that's for sure. Yeah, yeah, but yeah, Dead Pit. Yeah, I really love Dead Pit's channel. Like some of the streams with like Uncle Bill, Rainbow Raff, and Stuntman Mark, they're a lot of fun to watch. Thoughts on Efrey? He's a good guy. I haven't heard from Efrey in a while. Haven't talked to him, but hopefully he's doing well. I don't think he's on YouTube anymore, but yeah, I remember Efrey. I think, yeah, we used to. I think at one point, like we did some Skypes back in the day when Skype was a thing. You rewatched Captain Marvel today on Disney Plus. Why? I think I saw it. I saw that once, and I don't remember anything about it. And the only reason I have to get off in a few minutes is because I have to go to the store and get some dinner stuff. But like I said, tomorrow night I will be doing a live commentary for The Mummy. It might be in here or it might be in there. But yeah, if I do it in the bedroom, Rosanna might be there. Uh, so it just depends. Yeah. So what happened was why The Mummy got picked was because I had put out kind of like, what would you guys like to see? And The Mummy got requested like three different people. So it had a greater chance of getting picked out of different, you know, uh, different films that were suggested. So the Mummy won. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. It'll be fun to watch the Mummy again. It's a classic. Yeah, so the thumbnail for that will be up sometime in the morning tomorrow, definitely way before the stream starts. And I will be starting that at like again 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Scooter would make the perfect main villain for your franchise. Yeah. But yeah, I am getting very close to 800 subscribers. And I know that may not seem a lot, but I just want to say, even for the few people that are watching, like so far, like thank you to everybody for still watching and stuff like that. And I know in terms of uploads, that there hasn't been too much going on, but I have been pumping up that pumping out the live streams. And if you guys enjoy the live reviews, I may keep doing that. And um, let me know if you guys want to see more. uh, I mean, as far as what's next, I mean, I haven't thought that far, but for the moment, kind of going at my own pace and stuff like that. And like you know probably review what I have here in terms of Blu-rays. That I have a few Blu-rays here. I have a lot more in storage. And so yeah, maybe what I can do is kind of tackle what I have here and then just kind of bring them back and get some new ones. So, but like I said, if you guys want to see more live reviews, where I also, answer questions and stuff like that, let me know. And yeah, so again, yeah, thank you to everybody out there who, continues to watch and leave kind words and stuff like that. I mean, I know I've had this channel up for about 8 years, maybe nine. 800 subscribers is not so, like, it's not a huge number, but I'm thankful. I'm just very appreciative of everybody. And I'm still going to continue on and work at it. I'm still going to, keep uploading, keep streaming, and just shoot for the stars. But I'll wrap up here for now. I'm just kind of rambling on and on. But thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you to everybody who stuck around and hung out for a little bit. Even when I was away for a few minutes and you guys heard the fire alarm. But all is good. And again, thank you to everybody for watching. And I will see you guys tomorrow night for the Mummy live commentary. Have a good one.